friends, welcome back to my channel, The Balanced Bite. Today's 1600 calorie meal prep is based on what's local this summer, and it's all about variety and flavor. And so we're gonna start the day with some carrot apple muffins, and we're gonna pair that with some Greek yogurt. And then for lunch, we're gonna be having some udon noodles with some ground beef that I had a bunch of in the refrigerator, so that's why we're doing that. And then for our snack, we're gonna be doing a brownie jar, which has Greek yogurt, a Fiber One brownie, and some chocolate Greek yogurt mixed in, which is really yummy. Tastes like you're having pudding. And then also for a little treat, I had some heirloom tomatoes here and some phyllo dough. So we came up with an heirloom tomato phyllo dough pizza, and you can put that with some kale salad if you want, or a little bit of arugula for a complete meal. So with that said, let's go ahead and get cooking. Let's make some carrot apple protein muffins. In a bowl, let's first add 1 cup of oats, followed by 1 cup of all-purpose flour, now follow that up with some protein powder and cinnamon, nutmeg, and baking soda and baking powder. Now for our wet ingredients, we're going to add 2 eggs. We're also going to add 1 quarter cup of olive oil and 1 cup of Greek yogurt, and we're going to follow that up with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Next, we're going to take our wet ingredient and combine it into our dry ingredients. Next, go ahead and add a cup of cubed apples. Then we're going to follow that up with the carrots. I use matchstick to pre-packaged carrots, a lot easier that way. And then we're going to add a quarter cup of raisins for some sweetness. And go ahead and give that a nice mix. I forgot earlier to put the sugar in, so I remembered it now. Sorry. I used regular sugar because I was out of brown, and gave that a good stir. And then I got out my silicone muffin mold, and I measured it out to the top, and I got about 10 muffins out of it. Next up, I'm putting together these Fiber One brownie jars. They're so quick to prep and perfect when you want something that's sweet and ready to go, and they're also pretty to look at. So let's get started with making them. I used Greek yogurt. I used 3/4 cup times 5. Then I added this 2.5 cups of whey protein powder to my what's becoming overly stuffed jar of yogurt. I wanted to put this in, some kind of pouring vessel because they're going to be going into jars. Usually I use cocoa powder, but I was out, so I use this 10-calorie sugar-free syrup to make them chocolatey. And I think that's my new favorite. I think I'm going to do that from now on. And it wasn't a lot. 10 calories is not much. So yeah, that's how I get the chocolate. Then I found these, and this is gonna sound, these are a little like hard to look at, but these are like these funnels, and when you're making videos and you want them to look somewhat decent, I thought this was a good way to do it, and it's fast. Then I quickly cleaned them all off because no matter what you do, they get everywhere. And again, I had 5 of them. And yeah, that little jar that I had worked perfect for that. So then I add berries, half a cup each of strawberries. You can put anything you like. Strawberries, cherries, blueberries, whatever you like. I happen to have strawberries, so that's what I put in here. And it's nice. It gives it like another, some of the, that's what I'm looking for. It's acidy, and it gives it a nice contrast. And then we're going to go ahead and put the lids on them. And this is a Fiber One brownie jar. So let me explain. After I get all the lids on here. When you take it out of the refrigerator, grab a bar from your pantry, and you're basically just going to top it off with the bar and about a tablespoon or 2 of whipped cream cheese. And once you do that, you guys, let me tell you, this is like having a brownie sundae at like Cold Stone Creamery or something. That's what I liken it to. And it really, 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 kept my cravings at bay. So I hope you like it too. I'm gonna make an udon noodle bowl with lots of vegetables and ground beef. I really like this combination. I never thought about using ground beef, but I had it, and so I used it in this combination, and it was perfectly fine and good. So we want to go ahead and start by boiling the noodles for 8 minutes. And then we've already ground the beef, and this is kind of after the fact here, but basically we're putting in all the vegetables into the grease of the ground beef fat. So I did put a little bit of olive oil in there, about a tablespoon. But I have carrots, broccoli, bell peppers, and then at the end I'm going to put in some slaw, which I think is, red peppers, and then slaw. And yeah, just give that a stir for about, anywhere from about 10, all in total for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how soft you like your vegetables. And then you want to finally just stir in at the end the ground beef and also the edamame. And this made 8 servings, which is great, but it was a little much for this big pan. This is a big pan, so next time I'll probably make it for 6 servings. And then I drained the udon noodles, and I probably should have drained them better because they were kind of sticking. So I kind of had to manipulate them a little bit. And then I had a homemade teriyaki sauce, which I will link in the blog post, which is very good, just the right amount of flavor without going overboard with calories, and then a little slurry on there to kind of thicken the whole thing up. And yeah, and then you just kind of stir it together. There I am. And now it's done. And I like to have everything ready to go, so I portioned these out. I weighed it out. I can't remember how many grams it was, but I figured it out, and then I had 8 containers. I think it was like 213 grams or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but just measure out your food. And then I like to use these glass bowls because you can just put them right into the microwave, and you don't have to dirty a dish. You can just use these as they are. So you're going to want to begin by slicing your heirloom tomatoes into slices. You could, it doesn't really matter. I think if you do them probably thicker would be a little bit better, because first of all, we're going to roast these tomatoes, and then we're going to put them on the pizza. So I would say try to give them kind of a thick chop. And then also I had some cherry tomatoes that I grew in my garden, so I threw those in there as well. But make sure that if you are using homegrown tomatoes, you really wash them. I actually didn't show that part, but I washed them, and I actually put a little vinegar on them just to get the any residue off there. So yeah, that's how it started. Had some phyllo dough, and I wanted to use that up, and so I went ahead and brought that out. Now you want to thaw your phyllo dough for at least 2 hours, either in the refrigerator or on the counter, and that helps to keep them so they don't stick. So I took 1 egg white, some water, and some olive oil, about a tablespoon or so, and this just keeps the phyllo dough from not drying out. And we're going to use 9 sheets, and we're going to duplicate this with a teaspoon approximately of this cheese and the Asiago cheese, and then we're going to do it again 9 times. If you finish all 9 layers, then go ahead and put some chopped garlic on top. And I did I'd say 3 medium-sized cloves, and then just kind of spread that out. Again, put another, I would say, tablespoon of olive oil on the top there to give it that golden crust look that we're going for. And then you're going to want to put it in the oven for it was about 10 minutes for this part. For the Boursin cheese, and this is about 5.3 ounces, and you just want to cut it up and spread it across the top here. So once that's spread out, you can go ahead and grab your roasted tomatoes that we just cut out of the oven. I don't know about you guys, but anything roasted when it comes to tomatoes, I love. I do like margarita pizza. That's just, straight up tomatoes on a pizza, but the quality of these tomatoes were so roasting them would ensure a little bit more flavor. So that's what I did. And yeah, I'm going to spread all these around and evenly coat the top of this phyllo dough pizza. Added some fresh thyme again on top, just to give it a little bit more flavor. Then I wanted to add a little extra cheese, so I put some mozzarella on top as well. And then once I was done with that, it was ready to be baked. So now the pizza came out and it was baked really well, and I put it at 375, sorry, and I baked the pizza with the cheese and the tomatoes for about 10-12 minutes, and it turned out so good. Then I put my fresh basil on top, and this is again from my garden, and let me tell you guys, when you grow something in your garden, it smells so much better. I don't know why that is, but it was so delicious with all this. And then I put a little bit more fresh thyme, and there we go. So this is how the pizza turned out. It was really good. The 9 layers of the phyllo dough made it so crunchy and beautiful, and the tomatoes were delicious. So I hope you will enjoy it. So here are the macros. It was only 450 calories. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I will have more content coming out next week. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to The Balanced Bite, and I'll see you next week for another video. Take care.